Caracal. Caracal sat at a rotten wooden table across from her much younger friend Ancilla. The two women shared pints of lukewarm cider at the Vahantre's northern headquarters in the basement of a cathedral abandoned some odd number of ages ago. Neither of the women had worked a job the whole week, and Caracal was pleased with the lack of labor. Her last task had been to assassinate the cousin of Low King Tanzanite. After her success, she wanted nothing more than to lay low and drink. Warmth rushed through her face after she placed her flagon on the table, empty for a second time. "Another!" she bellowed toward another member of the guild at a nearby table. "Get your own damn spirits." Lynx pointed a thick finger at her before refocusing on his ale. He was one of the saltiest bastards in the guild. As proof, he had earned a crooked gash that split his right cheek from their late guild leader. Caracal hadn't expected Lynx to actually get her more cider. They weren't friends. However, her intoxication increased her liveliness, so she had requested it anyway. "I finished mine, I'll get it." Ancilla's rounded features softened into a smile. She clasped both iron flagons with nimble fingers before shuffling to the cider barrel to refill them. "Thanks." Caracal kicked up her tall leather boots onto the lopsided table and half worried it would collapse under her. After it stabilized, she lost her concern. During the wait, Caracal fought off a slovenly smile as she observed her fellow guildmates across the low-ceilinged pseudo-tavern. Thieves, pickpockets, and conmen smoked a noxious hallucinogenic herb in the far corner. Footpads and grave robbers gambled their guild dues over a deck of dragons. Launderers, stalkers, intimidators, assassins like herself, and a slew with a mixture of skills ate a sorry excuse for dinner while drinking wanting spirits. Despite herself, Caracal detested most of them for what they were. Ancilla was the exception. She was one of the best lockpickers in the whole guild, not just their northern chapter, but the young woman would never boast about her talents. Her step was silent, regardless if she was on a job or strolling around the headquarters, and she was the only one Caracal trusted to accompany her on assassination missions. Ancilla got Caracal anywhere she needed to be to execute a perfect murder. Once Ancilla returned with the flagons of cider, the door to the basement flung open. Felidae, the leader of the Vahantre's northern chapter, strode to the center of the gathering space, kicked Caracal's feet off her table, and stood atop it in their place. The impact of Caracal's feet slamming against the stone floor pained her aging ankles, and Caracal sneered at the regional leader without her taking notice. "As much as I hate the rest of them, Felidae is the worst." Caracal's previous merriment and carelessness sobered to prepare herself for whatever message the woman had. "We have a job, a big one," Felidae announced to the room. "It's for all of us. Doesn't matter if you're a non-violent trade, we're gonna need you. We've been commissioned to kill the soldiers of the crusade. There are big groups of them marching, so we're gonna have to come up with a strategy for slaughtering droves of them." Caracal caught herself glaring at Felidae. "I want to punch her scrunched rat face." Rumbles and whispers found their way around the room. "Who would commission a request like this?" Lynx asked. "That remains confidential," Felidae replied. "It's obvious why they don't want their names spread throughout the whole guild." "They're commissioning the whole guild?" someone farther back shouted. "Didn't I make that clear? Yes, everyone from each of the 5 regional chapters will participate. The only ones with that much gem would be aristocracy or royalty. This is an immense task that Credo seriously should have considered refusing. If we anger the High King by killing his soldiers, he'll exterminate us in retribution. No merciful pardons, no forgiveness. It's not one particular group they want us to get, one specific target, that's more our style," Caracal voiced among the other dissenters. "We will be paid per death, and we will not take any additional jobs until the gems stop flowing from our customer," Felidae said. "Those are direct orders from Credo." Caracal did not appreciate being forced into accepting a job, especially one that did not suit her taste. "This is going to be more trouble than it's worth," Caracal scoffed. "With your expertise, I'll expect double the quota from you," Felidae said. Caracal glared but refused to provide her the satisfaction of punishing disobedience. "There's going to be a quota?" Color drained from Monsilla's face, following her drooping expression. Philaday refrained from answering her question and instead fielded another concerning logistics. "To collect payment, we need to turn in the heads of the soldiers to a contact provided by our sponsor. They were clear. We need to have both the head and the helmet." Disgust echoed within the decrepit walls of the basement pseudo-tavern. This is the problem with this sort of work. Single assassinations are easy for sponsors to confirm, and therefore easy to receive payment for them. Mass killings are harder, not only for logistical reasons, but for the heightened risk. Ancilla gave Caracal a nervous glance, clearly having a similar line of thought. I should mention that the current agenda for the soldiers in this region is twofold. King Tanzanite has instructed soldiers to migrate to the northern border and to patrol the major roads to guide spawn to the capitals. The same instructions hold for Ferdinandese and Hogenson soldiers. We should probably target our efforts on slaying the soldiers along the roads. But perhaps more experienced killers can focus on those soldiers on the front lines. Philaday turned a cruel smile towards Caracal. Caracal's nose twitched aggressively. Philaday snorted, clearly pleased to have elicited a reaction. "Am I sensing insubordination?" "If you were, I'd leave the guild before I'd allow you to reprimand me." The guild hall went silent as the two women stared at each other. The challenge was not lost on Philaday. "I suppose it's in both our best interests that there was not a grievance committed against the guild, then." "I suppose so." Caracal stood and stalked out of the gathering area. Behind her, Philaday continued. "Additionally, we have some recommendations of when and where we should strike based on troop movement." Before Caracal reached the flimsy basement door and slammed it behind herself. As soon as she climbed the stairs, leading from the imitation tavern, a wave of heat assaulted her. The dueling suns beat through the cathedral's tattered roof. Unbroken glass art resting within the sandstone walls magnified the effect. Caracal crossed under wooden scaffolding and across shattered tile to the other side of the prayer area, where a line of rooms repurposed for sleeping quarters awaited her. She returned to her shared room, climbed atop her cot, and leaned against the wall, considering her options. I could leave the guild and return to my old life with my old name. She wondered how long it would take before her remaining family would turn her in to the regional soldiers for her crimes against the crown. Perhaps I could start over, travel to Hisafe, and live out the rest of my days as a merchant. Perhaps I would even warn Low King Tanzanite of the treachery awaiting the soldiers that protected his realm. And probably mean death for me, revealing I was an ex-member of the dreaded Vahantry. Perhaps I'll stay. If I work with Ancilla, I'd still hate the job, but it would be bearable. Often, Caracal only accepted jobs when she felt morally justified in helping the customer. The only exceptions were when she was struggling to pay her guild dues or when Philaday specifically instructed her to take a job, which wasn't frequent. Typically, when she was voluntold for a job, the customer was paying serious gem, and Philaday wanted it done properly. In those scenarios, Caracal hadn't minded the better pay. This was different. I'd be awful at this. Everyone in the guild would be. The Vahantry isn't an army. Why would this customer come to us? Are they too optimistic? Do they expect the underground guild could achieve miracles based on wild rumors? Would all 5 chapters dare challenge the monarchs of every kingdom? The High King himself? They must hold a loose grasp on reality to expect that the guild would achieve any real success with this task. Then again, knowing how much some of the guild members covet gem, perhaps they are entirely realistic. Caracal's frown deepened. While Caracal was in thought, Ancilla burst into the room and took a seat on the edge of her cot. "What were you thinking, challenging Philaday in front of everyone?" Caracal skirted around the question. "I don't see how this won't rip the guild apart. Half the members haven't slain a single person in their lives. Even you haven't." "I'm surprised that's why you're upset." Amusement drained Ancilla's shock. "Are you saying that you aren't bothered by our new assignment?" "Of course, but my concern is that you don't get murdered in your sleep by our regional leader." "She can't kill me. I'm the best mercenary she's got. She needs me." "Value yourself that highly, do you? You might have had one too many ciders while we were downstairs," Ancilla joked. "But truly, her pride can only take so much." "I'll be more careful." Caracal refrained from rolling her eyes at the hollow promise. "Good. I'll need your help to fill my quota. Caracal laughed. At least you're to the point. After a moment, reality soured her merriment. What are we going to do? We can't take on an army. Ancilla took her hand. If you can't envision a solution, then let me tell you mine. Good. I'm terrible being the idea person. Caracal smirked, but squeezed her hand back. She's gotten us out of more situations than I care to count. We'll team up with Lynx and the other footpads to pick off the easy prey, those who stray from the road, those who fall behind, and maybe stake out a side road. We'll set up traps and we'll follow their lead. They'll be more adept at handling the larger groups. Perhaps with your skill, we'll even get a few higher-ranking soldiers. Maybe there'll be a bonus for it. By the way this'll go, there better be. I'm going to need all the gem I can find to drink this away.